Hey everyone, Scott here with the International Digital Times, and today we're going to be taking a look at Delver. Delver is a first-person roguelike that was inspired by more exploration-focused games like Ultima Underworld, and was created by a lone developer, which I think is pretty cool. It was created by a guy named Chad Allen Cuttigan, and the game is still in Steam Early Access. I've been keeping my eyes on it for a few months now. It got a pretty big story update right before the Steam sale kicked off, and it actually just got a huge discount here in the last couple days. It was knocked down, it was already down 50%, knocked down to 75% for a few hours, so I figured, you know, what better time to check it out. So here we are, let's jump right in. My save slots are empty right now. I have spent, maybe an hour or two playing the game, just, you know, a couple runs. I wanted to see what I was getting myself into before I started showing you guys the game. So let's go ahead and get started. So as I mentioned, Delver is a roguelike. Like most roguelikes, every time you start the game, you're going to be jumping into a brand new dungeon that's been randomly created for you. But first you start here at the base camp. Gives you a chance to come over here and talk to some of the vendors, find out you know, what kind of spells and extra gear you can buy with some of the gold that you find down in the dungeon. And it also has some of these notes that are lying on the table and on the ground that give you some of the basics on how to fight using focus / charge up attacks. And things, you know, just basics that you need to jump into the game. But let's go ahead and start checking out the dungeon. So in Delver, you are trying to get down to the 7th floor of your dungeon to retrieve a treasure, which you then need to bring back to the surface. I'm not really sure if there is anything past that, if, you know, you're trying to go for multiple runs, or if maybe the difficulty ramps up once you've retrieved the artifact, or what have you. But, you know, like I said, the goal is to get down to the 7th floor, so let's see if we can at least make it down a couple floors. Oh, and a trap right out of the gate. So, one upside, I guess, to the traps in this game is that, as you probably just saw right there, after you activate them, there is at least a brief period when they can't be activated again. So you at least don't have to worry about having something happen, you know, like I just ran over that trap and backed out the door really fast, kind of reactionary. And at least I didn't have to worry about reactivating the trap when I walked through a second time, because that could have been the end of my game right there. Alright, so this is the earliest I've actually encountered these so far, but let's go ahead and we'll grab these notes. As I mentioned before, the game just recently got kind of a narrative update. You know, Delver is still in early access, and its most recent update implemented the beginnings of the game's backstory, or its narrative components, which take the form of these notes that you find hidden throughout the world. And you can put them in your toolbar, take a look at them real quick, see what they have to say, learn a little bit about the dungeon that you're going down into, and then you just kind of keep going on your way. Toss them out as you know, after you're done reading them, because you don't really have an inventory space to keep them all. Alright, let's keep going. Another trap. Alright. So this seems like as good a time as any to go over healing. Alright. As you just noticed, or as you just learned, mobs can trip the traps in this game too. In this case, that zombie tripped it. But he saved us a little bit of damage. And I guess that trap isn't going to activate a second time. That is not the case for all traps, though, believe me. I have seen several trigger more than once. So as you may or may not have noticed, I've got a mini-map in the top left corner of my screen. That has got to be one of the most valuable tools in the game. You know, like any good roguelike, you're going to be doing a lot of dungeon diving. I just got hit by a trap and leveled at the same time, so I guess that's kind of a nice little offset. But as I was saying, you are exploring this randomly created dungeon, and as you can probably imagine, some of these walls and corridors and everything start to blend together after a little while, and it's pretty easy to kind of get mixed up on where you're going. So thankfully there is a mini-map to help you kind of keep track of progress, you know, see where you've been, where you might have missed an extra door or an extra corridor, or in this case, secret wall. So one thing I think is pretty cool in Delver, and let's see if I can actually pull it off here. Oh, I killed him. You can actually deflect incoming magic spells with your own magic. You've got to make the spells connect in midair, but it is a kind of an interesting way to see the game handle magic countering. We'll skip out on that note for now. I don't want to spoil all the fun for you guys. Alright, so we made it down to floor 2. I probably could have done a little more exploring on that top level, but a lot of the gear and stuff you find is kind of useless anyways until you get a little ways in. Unless you get lucky and just start finding great stuff right out the gate. As you may or may not have noticed also, after you do a little damage to some of at least your human opponents, once they start getting towards mortal damage, they will, you know, play it a little cautious. They'll actually start to retreat and go look for reinforcements of some kind, and you kind of have to chase them down, which makes the bow and arrow and various magic staffs fairly useful. Man, I'm just not having good luck with these traps today. So we're going to keep working our way through the dungeon. Kill the people that we encounter, along with any monsters we come across. Oh, I'm about to die. Let's drink some booze, get the health going. He didn't drop anything. Let's go see if we can figure out where that mage was. Alright. We live to fight another day. So you've probably seen me grabbing a bunch of these potions. One thing that I found particularly interesting about this game is that it uses a mechanic that I've only ever seen in one other game besides this, and that was Legend of Dungeon. And that mechanic is randomizing the potions and their effects every time you start a new game. As you can see, I've got a few different colors here, and they've all got the different question marks on them because I haven't tried any of them. Presumably, once the game is actually finished and no longer in Steam Early Access, they will also tell you what they do once you've used one on each run. Unfortunately, that's not the case right now. So in that case, the blue one gave me a magic shield. Let's see what the green one does. It poisons me, of course. Oh, and it looks like the latest update actually has changed that. So, you heard it here first. Potions now will let you know what they do after you've used one. So let's get my healing going. And see if we can backtrack and figure out the right way off of this floor. Let's see if maybe there's something behind the waterfall. Oh, wishful thinking, I suppose. And there's the exit. Along with some pants. See if they're better. Yep, better than my current ones. inventory management, and we're good to go. Another use for potions, especially those green ones that aren't going to do me any good. You can shoot them with magic and turn them into bombs. That also works with the bow and arrow, so make sure if you are ever running around in Delver that you don't actually accidentally shoot a potion that's near you. So we're down in the caves now. These are apparently a fairly recent addition to Delver as well. I was looking through its changelog before diving into this today, and before working on its narrative component, it sounds like the developer did a pretty extensive redesign of these cave tile sets in an effort to make them look a little more, I guess, interesting or unique. I'm not really sure, you know, having not played this until the last couple days, I'm not really sure what the difference was in the old caves and these new ones, but I have to say, I like the way these new ones look. And I don't like how close I am to dying right now. Oh! Something must have been shooting me. I thought I hit a trap. Let's give it one more go. So as I mentioned, every run, you start back at base camp. I bet you can come over here and get a record. Oh, nope. I figured you could come get a record of your deaths. Maybe in the final version. Let's jump right back in, though. Get some ale. No weapons or equipment. Alright, already got my first level. And an excellent short bow. That'll come in handy if I can find some more arrows. And what do you know? That bow and arrow actually does more damage than my dagger right now, so we'll have to hold on to that. And look at that, new dagger too. Let's avoid the trap. Let's see if we can show off that magic. Nope. So maybe you have to match the magics. I bet if I'd shot, if I had the magic missile wand, I bet I could have offset his magic attacks. So we got some improved armor. It's a decent start. Stick the bow right there. Get these potions. Like I said, there's a fair amount of inventory management in the game, but you know, it is a roguelike. You are going to have to be juggling a fair number of items. It just kind of comes with the turf. Oh, and there he goes retreating. But I got him. So we got some more magic. Let's see if that helmet was any good. 0 AC. That's nothing. Oh. Pants upgrade again. Got a couple notes on the ground. Oh, did I pick up some magic? I did. Let's drink that booze. And get ready to blast this guy. There we go. More magic. Ooh, 3 lightning damage. Let's get my health up. So do I want to do 4 to 5 regular? Or 4 to... let's combine it. Why not? Stick with the dagger. The zombies amuse me in this game because it looks like they're wearing ties. And I have to assume that office zombies were not really a thing in whatever medieval era this game is supposed to take place in. But it's still an amusing thought to have office zombies roaming around this map. And look at that, we found the next floor. And some bread. Alright, see if we can make it back to the caves.
Hello?
So as you can see, magic is pretty effective in this game. I suspect that's part of the reason why it's not an unlimited use or something based on a mana pool, but instead, you know, all magic is cast either via scrolls, which I believe are single use, and these wands or staffs, which come with usually 6 or 8 charges. I think right as I said that I picked the one up with 7. Of course I did. Hey, look at that. New pants. And a new sword, I bet. Sure is. Now we finally have something with some range. So one thing I would like to see added is a block attack of some kind. Right now your only options really are to back away from whoever you're fighting, try and counter their magic with your own magic, or to kill things before they have a chance to hit you, which, I mean, all are certainly acceptable means of dealing with enemies. But it would just be nice to see a basic block attack put in, so I could stay up close and really get into it with some of these things, especially in rooms that are a little bit smaller, but still packed with just as many enemies as some of the bigger areas. But then again, maybe Delver used to have a block, and maybe it made it too easy. I'm not really sure, and I'm certainly not a game dev. So this is another mechanic that took me a few minutes to figure out, but as it turns out, stuck doors are pretty easy to resolve in this game. There we go. That might save you a 5 to 10 minute trip back to the surface. And really, you don't actually have to open any of them if you don't want to. You could just bash your way through every door in the game, from what I've seen. And we made it back down to the caves. Let's see if we do a little better this time. Oh man, I did not realize how close my health was there. I almost ended up dead again. So let's switch to magic and deal with that creature from a safer distance. And there we go. Hey, look at that. Get some meat. Skip out on those notes. Something tells me I won't live through that fall. And look at that. Alright guys, well I don't want to give away all of the game's secrets, but I think you probably have some idea as to what Delver is all about now. As I mentioned before, the game is still in Steam Early Access, but anyone who is interested in picking up the game can find it for $4 for the remainder of the Steam sale, and it's $8 normally. And yeah, I think I'm going to keep going to see if I can't figure out what this treasure is all about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe to the International Digital Times YouTube channel so you can catch all the rest of our videos as we have time to create new content. Thanks, and have a great one.